Europa. Il va lieber.
Shit, bye.
Welcome to the channel. We're going to have a look at Mino Raiola. So agents are sometimes styled as the enemies of the game, and Raiola has come to personify that more obviously than anyone else, whilst his contemporary George Mendes is viewed as a more shadowy figure, greasing the wheels of business. Raiola is outspoken and brash. Sir Alex Ferguson freely admits he took an instant dislike to him, but players love him. That exchange with Ferguson resulted in Pogba leaving for Juve, where he became a superstar, returning to Manchester United for a world record fee. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has entrusted his whole career to him. Erling Haaland is now doing the same. The bond forged with the Dutch Italian are real. For players, Mino is a great guy because he helps them to get the best contracts they can, Michael Creek told Sky. For the club, he is a pain in the arse. To understand how the game's biggest stars have come to rely on Raiola, it helps to go back to the beginning and his first deals. If the turgid tale tells us something about his negotiating skills, others shine a light on his ability to build trust. Creek was a midfielder with Ajax, a two-time title winner. He was also part of Louis van Gaal's side that defeated Torino in the 1992 UEFA Cup final, but the emergence of Edgar Davids soon left him on the bench and the chance to move to Italy appealed. In Creek's case, the Italian club was Padova. Even if it's not the biggest club, it was a big move for me to go to the best league in Europe. It was a big step. I've been at Ajax since the age of 8, so I knew every corner of the stadium. Then you go abroad and you have to look after yourself at 23 years of age. Not quite. Creek's manager was Rob Janssen, who had Raiola for company. At that time, Mino was working for Rob, so he had to guide all the players who were going to Italy, Creek says. In that situation, I went to Padova. Mino was the translator for everything that was said between Rob and the board of Padova. Having worked in the parents' pizzeria restaurant in Harlem since he was a boy, Raiola had a gift for business. He started Intermezzo exploring opportunities for Dutch companies in Italy at 17. He claimed to have been a self-made millionaire while still a teenager. When it came to football, as a young man of Italian heritage living on the outskirts of Amsterdam, the stars aligned. Raiola was starting out at the time when a wonderful generation of Dutch talent was emerging, and Serie A was the best league in the world. Of course, the money was better in Italy than in Holland, says Creek. Raiola's enterprise saw him seize the chance to be a middleman. He was involved in Dennis Bergkamp's famous move to Inter, but there were many more. Marciano Vink's move from Ajax to Genoa that same year, and the previous summer, Brian Roy went to Foggia. Roy's experience with Raiola was revealing. He did the deal because he could speak English, Roy told Sky Sports, but what was more important was how he looked after me once he had done the deal. Day and night he was with me. He made sure that I could settle in the best way. That is something that I'll always be grateful for. Not everyone will do that for you. Raiola spent half a year with Roy in Foggia. For the first couple of months we had a room next to each other in the Hotel Cicuella, he recalls. Then I found an apartment and he helped me with everything, finding the right stuff for the apartment. No job was too big, no detail was too small. Raiola even helped paint the apartment. For Roy, it was evident of his commitment. There were many beautiful cities in Italy, he added, and Foggia was not one of them. I think my experience is the best example of what Mino is really like. Even so, Creek has a few of his own. From the moment that I went to Padova, Mino was the one helping me get a house, get a car, open a bank account, all that kind of stuff because he spoke the language. He was there non-stop for the first 3 weeks, so he was great help for me at that time. He was able to fix everything. For example, when I signed my contract, there was no car included. In 2 days, he'd arrange a car for me from a personal sponsor. There were certain things he would just do. It was not his job, but he would just do it. That was Mino back then. He made contacts and it was so easy for him to make things happen. He was fun to be around. He was very outspoken in those early days. What set Raiola apart was that he was not kicking downwards but upwards. He enjoyed telling the story of berating former Juve director Luciano Moggi in front of his own entourage for not meeting him with the then unknown Raiola as had been agreed. Even experienced figures such as Zenit Zeman, the celebrated Czech coach who would go on to lead Lazio, Roma and Napoli, were unable to escape him within their inner sanctum. Zeman was Foggia coach when Broy arrived, and he soon had an unlikely assistant. He even went into the dressing room when the manager had his talk, said Roy, laughing to himself at the memory. He was stood right next to Zeman for the first couple of weeks just to coach me. It was terrific. It was phenomenal. We had a very good friendship. Zeman came to appreciate it too. In the summer of 1996, Raiola helped take Zeman's compatriot Pavel Nedvěd from Sparta Prague to the Lazio side. Nedvěd would go on to join Lazio and win the Ballon d'Or in 2003, cementing Raiola's status as a super agent. By then, his time as Jensen's translator was over. Rob was taking the lead, Mino was assisting, remembered Creek. At a certain point, I think Mino thought he could do it better on his own and decided to start his own company. It was a shrewd move. Raiola's client base remains relatively small, still priding himself on the personal touch, but 2 decades on, he's still doing some of the biggest deals, still antagonizing some of the world's most famous club and still trusted by the stars. It's not for nothing that great players are with Mino. Haaland's next transfer will be one of the football's biggest. Expect Raiola to do the deal.